Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Allifirrizqi Muhammad and my metric number is 260407. Our group members are Yasmin, Hanani, Binti Ramli, Nurul Balqis, Izazi, Binti Azri, Nurul Syamimi, Binti Saharuddin, and Saiyidah Nafisah, Binti Azami. So, our group will explain about Catch Me If You Can film. Catch Me If You Can is a 2002 American biographical crime film directed and produced by Steven Spielberg from a screenplay by Jeff Nathanson and starring Leonardo DiCaprio and Tom Hanks. The supporting cast features Christopher Walken, Martin Sheen, Natalie Bay, Amy Adams, Jennifer Garner, James Brolin, and Malachi Throne. The film is based on the autobiography of Frank Abagnale, who allegedly, before his 19th birthday, successfully performed cons worth millions of dollars by posing as a Pan American World Airways pilot, a Georgia doctor, and a Louisiana Parish prosecutor. The truth of his story is questionable. The development for the film began in 1980, but dragged on until 1997, when Spielberg's DreamWorks bought the film rights to Abagnale's 1980 book of the same name. David Fincher, Gore Verbinski, Les Hallstrom, Milos Forman, and Cameron Crowe were all considered to direct the film before Spielberg decided to direct it himself. Filming took place from February to May 2002. The film opened on December 25, 2002, to critical and commercial success. At the 75th Academy Awards, Christopher Walken and John Williams were nominated for Best Supporting Actor and Best Original Score, respectively. And the synopsis: Frank Abagnale worked as a doctor, a lawyer, and as a co-pilot for a major airline, all before his 18th birthday. A master of deception, he was also a brilliant forger, whose skill gave him his first real claim to fame. At the age of 17, Frank Abagnale became the most successful bank robber in the history of the US. FBI agent Carl Henry makes it his prime mission to capture Frank and bring him to justice, but Frank is always one step ahead of him. I will tell you a few parts in this film. In 1963, teenager Frank Abagnale lives in New Rochelle, New York, with his father Frank Abagnale Sr. and his French mother Paula. When Frank Sr. encounters tax problems with the IRS, the family is forced to move from their large home to a small apartment. Meanwhile, Frank transfers to public school and gets into trouble when he pulls a substitute French teacher on his first day there. Shortly thereafter, Frank discovers that his mother is having an affair with his father's friend Jack Barnes. When his parents divorce, Frank runs away, needing money. He turns to confidence scams to survive, and his cons grow bolder. He impersonates an airline pilot and forges Pan American World Airways payroll checks. Soon, his forgeries are worth millions of dollars. News of the crimes reached the FBI, and agent Carl Henry begins tracking Frank. Carl finds Frank at a hotel, but Frank cons Carl into believing he is a Secret Service agent who is also after Frank. He escapes before Carl realizes that he was fooled. Frank begins to impersonate a doctor. As Dr. Frank Connors, he falls in love with Brenda, a naive young hospital worker. Frank asks Brenda's attorney father for permission to marry her, and also wants his help with arranging to take the Louisiana State Bar exam. Frank takes the exam and passes. Carl tracks Frank to his Brenda's engagement party, but Frank escapes through a bedroom window. Before leaving the party, Frank asks Brenda to meet him at the Miami airport 2 days later. At the airport, Frank sees Brenda but also spots plainclothes agents and realizes she has given him up. Frank leaves Brenda and drives away. Frank then reassumes his identity as a Pan American pilot and stages a false recruiting drive for stewardess at a local college. He recruits 8 women as a stewardesses, conceals himself from Carl and the other agents walking through the Miami airport with the stewardesses and escapes on a flight to Madrid, Spain. In 1967, Carl eventually tracks down Frank in his mother's hometown of Monticard, France. Frank is taken to a French prison where he almost dies due to the poor conditions. Carl takes Frank on a flight back to the United States, and as they make their approach, Carl informs Frank that his father has died. Grief-stricken, Frank escapes from the plane and reaches the house of his now remarried mother. Later, Frank is convinced to surrender to Carl. He is eventually sentenced to 12 years in a maximum security prison. Carl occasionally visits Frank. During one visit, Carl shows him a fraud check from a case he is working on. Frank immediately figures out that the bank teller was involved in the fraud. Impressed, Carl convinces the FBI to allow Frank to serve the remainder of his sentence working for the FBI Bank Fraud Unit. Frank agrees but soon grows restless of the tedious of his work. One weekend, he prepares to fly as an airplane pilot again and is intercepted by Carl, who allows him to carry on his act, assuring Frank that no one is chasing him. As Frank returns to work and discusses another fraud case with Carl, a textual epilogue indicates that Frank has lived for 26 years in the Midwest with his wife, with whom he has had 3 sons, remains friends with Carl, and has built a successful living as one of the world's leading experts on bank fraud and forgery. So, the cast in this film: Leonardo DiCaprio as Frank Abagnale, a teenager who turned into a con artist. Tom Hanks as Carl Hanani, an FBI agent who is based on Joseph C. Christopher Walken as Frank Abagnale Sr., the father of Frank Abagnale. Martin Sheen as Roger Strong, an attorney. Natalie Bay as Paula Abagnale, the French mother of Frank. Amy Adams as Brenda Strong, a young hospital worker and the doctor of Roger. James Brolin as Jack Barnes, the friend of Frank Abagnale Sr. who had an affair with Paula. Nancy Linehan as Carol Strong, the mother of Brenda. Thomas Kopache as Principal Evans, the principal of Frank's school who busts him for impersonating a substitute teacher. Candice Azara as Darcy, Malachi Throne as Abe Penner, Alfred Dennis as Ira Penner, Amy Acker as Maggie Acker, one of the 8 women that Frank recruits to be his stewardesses. Thank you.